Hello, welcome everyone. Today we have a guest with us, Alvar Rodriguez, and he would like to talk with us all about communication.
This is the Sales Ops Effect, where we strengthen our skills as strategic leaders to grow businesses with integrity.
Alvar, how are you doing?
I'm doing very good. Very happy to be here.
Great. And how did you get into sales operations?
Okay, it's a long story, as probably all the sales ops managers and professionals around the world. Well, I study audiovisual communication. I want to be, animating in cartoons, in movies. That was kind of my dream. I worked a little bit in Cartoon Network, but when you realize that the cartoon industry is not what you think that it was, I decided to change completely my career. So I started marketing, digital marketing. And from there, I work in a bank in Banco Azteca, or Azteca Bank here in Mexico. And after that, I work in a fintech called 𝗔𝗵𝗃. And then I start to work with the databases, speak with all the sales teams. And suddenly I received a call from someone from the United States, for a company called 𝗵𝗲, and they were searching for someone that can understand how the CRM works, how the different, structure of data is involved in a CRM, and how that data interact with each other. So I have this kind of background in 𝗵𝗃. I understand that because I was working in marketing, but also I was very involved with the sales team. So I understand all the deals, the tickets, blah, 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 interact with each other. So they were searching for someone that can understand how the data is structured, because they want to migrate from Salesforce to HubSpot. So I say, okay, this is a very good opportunity. So I say yes. And then they told me, well, now your position is sales operations specialist. And I was like, okay. Yes, I started working on CRM. That's something that I was doing in 𝗵𝗃. But then one of my co-workers decided to had a promotion in our company. So suddenly I received all the responsibilities that he has. So then suddenly I started doing all these daily tasks on sales operations, mapping process, establish, working on the sales process, verified all the properties, had all the data that we need. So we have to process the orders from the salespeople. So I started doing that, and suddenly say, okay, sales operations I like this. I think this is kind of my thing now, sales operations.
Yes.
So when I started doing that, I started to research about what it was, the position, the role. And then I noticed that in another companies, they have different perspectives about what is sales operations, what is their jobs. And I think that until now, 2023, 2022, is when sales operations starts to have this kind of standardized concepts around the positions, around the responsibilities, around the process that is involved in our department. So it's kind of weird to work in this area. And when I was there in 𝗵𝗲, I think there is figured out. So I start to work in a lot of initiatives there. For example, they didn't have the process. They didn't have documentation for the process. Nobody.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Getting into that. So to summarize, there, you're in a few different jobs, and so you've learned skills from different places, including. Did you say working for Cartoon Network?
Yeah, like 3 months, and when I started doing animation, it was like, no, this is not what I want to do.
And that's such a brilliant thing to know and to share with people, because sometimes people think to get into sales operations, you have to have been in analytics. And that's not where you came from. You came from, I came from project management. You had a stint at Cartoon Network. Everybody knows Cartoon Network. But
Yeah.
your journey, even though it was different to mine, I think there are many, many different skills that can bring you to sales operations. And then even as you said, you were called in as somebody who understood the technology to sort out the CRM. And then after that, somebody said, well, now that you're a specialist in sales operations, how about you want to do some of these other things? And that is how it happens for a lot of people. People don't know this whole function exists until they get involved in a little bit like the technology or the analytics. And then they get rolled into it, and you either like it or you don't, but you liked it, so you stayed.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like, one of the aspects that I like it is like kind of the dependence that we have in our position. So because it starts to be very specialized, it's something that I like. But another thing that I love is that, as you say, this kind of positions where you have people for every, I don't know, in sense of you have people from finance, people from marketing, people for
the collaboration aspect.
Exactly. And also in sales operations, when you are, I don't know, now a professional that is in charge of, I don't know, some aspects, even as a specialist inside a company in sales operations, you have this kind of, you notice that you have like a different set of skills for this kind of job, because you have to be very good, I don't know, by establishing processes. I don't know, when I was working in Cartoon Network, we have processes, that I write the order, you have to process the order, understand what is in the, I don't know, in the script, and translate that to the computer and then the animation, no? And in marketing is all about process, especially digital marketing, especially marketing automation. It's all about process. So you start to have this kind of, I don't know, sensitivity about process, because you say, okay, it's easy for me, it's easy for me to establish process, a follow process is easy for everybody, but then you're right to sales operations, start to share process, and you notice that most of the people, they didn't understand processes, they didn't follow the line, and it's very straightforward when you establish that. So it's kind of a weird skill. Another skill that is very important, I think, for sales operations is the organization, the ability to organize complexity in simple buckets or steps. Because you have this complexity that is all around the company. It's like a net that is, I don't know what is the term in English, where you have like an
bangle.
I don't know, for free bangle. The net is bangle. You're right, a sense of operation, and your work is kind of, you have this line and this line that start to establish the order in the net. So I think that is another very important skill. And lastly, I think it's like a soft skill. The last one, I think, is the ability to communicate. For me, is the key. And also, it's very, I don't know, related with my background in audiovisual communication, I guess. And in the, you made like a work inside your company as a kind of internal marketing about your position. You have to start to look at it in this way.
That's the thing. Sales operations is such a multifaceted role. And so you're right, you have to sort out processes and make things clearer and clearer and clearer. And you do get to collaborate with all kinds of different departments, and you should. That's the only way to do sales operations properly. So when it comes to collaboration, how have you found your experiences with communicating with different departments? Have you had to explain what sales operations is, or were they really open? Like how did you go about introducing yourself or a project with another department internally?
Well, yes, always when I make this kind of presentation or onboarding in my department or in sales operations, I always say what is sales operations, and the definition. Sales operation is a company that is involved in establish the process and maintain the sales the process flowing, so you can track the revenue and the data in concordance with the revenue, no? Something like that.
So focusing on the data and the processes and the tracking of all of those things.
Exactly. And then where I always say that when I start to work with another departments in my experience is when something arrives, I don't know, suddenly my boss say, okay, you have to check out the bill, so you have to check out, I don't know, the end of the month, how the finance going. So talk with these people about how the numbers going. So suddenly it's like, okay, now I have to understand the finance of this new company. So I think one of the main keys when you have done all the first approaches with another partner, start to make a lot of questions. I don't feel, I don't know, guilt or fear to make a lot of questions, even to have this kind of fear to feel, I don't know, that you're dumb, but you don't have any idea what's going on, I think. So I make a lot of questions because something, okay, you have this idea because in sense of, I don't know, you're very biased into your CRM, your automations to track the revenue, to piece of the sales reps. No, it's a joke.
Yes. Okay, so what you're saying is so for example, going into finance and having to ask them questions about revenue from your client, you have to ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, yes, the questions, but when I think the main goal here to try to understand the language from other departments.
Oh, yeah.
Is exactly because you have, I don't know, the language of sales and sales of this, like CRM, I don't know, ACV, MRR, DCV, all these metrics. And so only you arrive to finance, they have this kind of metrics, but the metrics there is like, I don't know, I try to translate, I don't know, revenue, all the terminology that is standard for them. And also, I don't know, the main principles, I don't know, something like in accounting is not historical. So it's only in the present or for the future, not for the past. So if a number is closed at the end of the month, that number is what it is. No, something like that. So you have to...
That's a very good point. And I'm very big on that as well. Like, I believe a company needs to understand its own language because obviously the different departments have their own language, their own terminology, their own acronyms, the way they shorten certain words. And people just naturally speak like that. So of course, you're coming from sales, you're talking to people in the finance department, and they're talking very fluently in their own language, but words that they're saying can match what you mean, but you don't know that yet. And that's why you have to ask so many questions. I'm a firm believer that there should be an internal business glossary because of the amount of times when I or people I've trained have joined businesses and for the first 2 months, they don't understand what anybody's saying.
Exactly.
Shortened words.
Yeah, even I don't know, when you change from company to company, I don't know, when I was working, I don't know, in Mexican companies, we use a lot of English, English terminology, but suddenly I arrived at true American company and I start to listen all these kind of weird, I don't know, acronyms, like, I don't know, like, who is it for information, the FYI, and I was what? For you, so but in the United States, I have when I was working in Parsura, I have a coworker that it was based in England, so you use, I don't know, the language that it is, but in the United States they make all this technology, so suddenly it was like, oh my god, I have to learn all of this. But to get to the point about importance of the language, I think that one of the key elements of self-separation, another one is to prevent or avoid that the establishment of silos inside the company. So it's like a link or like a core or like a hub, I don't know who say, that connects finance to with support, with sales, and I don't know, manage the information through these departments. So you are a key element. So in a way that you avoid that the sales department start working independently and finance start working independently, even legal start working independently. So you can here start to connect everybody through the processes to the data. So in that way, you establish like, I don't know, the balance, the balance inside the company.
Harmony, synergy.
The harmony exactly through the processes, and also in the way the information to all the departments is translated. It's something that I love this position, but it is something weird because it's something that you can't measure. I don't know, a platform. I don't know, like many message, finance and sales communicate each other this week. I don't know. But
I think you're definitely right. You can't measure that, and it's so important because we are a hub, even though we've got sales in our name, and so people think, as you said, that people could think, oh, we're just going to be biased towards sales. Mm-hmm. We need the whole system to work. We just happen to be called sales operations because we're really interested in money. Mm-hmm. so when you've got that, it's difficult. But I also like to think of it as I'm creating the arena for us to run a relay race. So when you have to pass the baton on to the next person and they pass it on to the next person, we create the arena and the departments are the ones that are running on the track. And so we make sure that the track is smooth. The process is know exactly what you're supposed to be handing over. And we practice this kind of stuff, and that's why we have to be so clear with our communication. But yes, it can be a bit difficult because of how we're titled. But I think in a larger business, we'd be business operations essentially. But it's that kind of terminology will evolve, I imagine, at some point. I think I kind of think of it as will end up being a center of excellence. So genuinely business operations. Mm-hmm. But it would have its own division with the sales operations and then all of the different other kinds of specific internal operations in it. So when you're talking to the sales team, how have you had to adopt or adjust rather how you communicate to them? Do people prefer to be spoken to or to have instructions written down? Or do you have to... How do you do it? Because I know there are some salespeople that presume that administrators, which is how we're sometimes viewed, don't know anything about sales. And that's just not true. So how have you had to overcome that?
Okay. The making element is probably to understand by the core what I'm sharing. I think that if I can explain a process with my own words, I don't know, to my grandma, I don't know, to my grandma, or to, I don't know, my nephew, or with a child, with any kind of problem, I think that is very important to simplify is a key element. Another thing is to understand deeply the process. And when I say that is that to look up the details, I don't know, like the pain points or the parts that didn't match each other when you're trying to describe it. So to look up these kind of details in the way a process is built. And then when you start to make all this documentation, to look up these kind of details, so you look like, I don't know, like the holes in the process. Then is to look up in the details, the simplified is element, but then obviously write in paper, I don't know, in Word, in docs, the process by steps, by your own words. Is all of what I'm saying now is like a preparation before you share that to sales. I think that preparation is key element. So you have to simplify the process. You have to write it on in paper or in your computer, in Word or in Google Docs, whatever, by your own words, the steps, read that again and again, the process or the change or the improvement you want to share. And after that, you can make, I don't know, like a PowerPoint presentation, very visual. And another key element, I think, is when you are going to share changes, you have to look up to only make small changes, each change by the time, so you can manage the changes when you are going to communicate that. And after that, when you have the preparations, the simplification of you want to say, and that is the time to share with the sales. I think one key element is to know your team, to know the people, and know their personalities, and know how they work. Because for example, in Ironics right now, I have sales reps that, I don't know, that are around the 40 years old, 45 years old, but also I have very competitive sales reps. I don't know, they have 24, 23 years old. When I communicate to them, it's too easy they understand very fast. And when I share that to the older sales reps, it's kind of a little bit complicated. So I have to make a communication effective for each of them. If really I want to see that, I don't know, this process, this change, this new update in the system, to be to be in action, that they can make an action of implement it. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So know the audience is key element. So for that, I think that you have to make a lot of different kinds of material. So obviously the documentation, the big test, the traditional support documentation for a process, but also the presentation, then also the video tutorial, then an infographics, and then obviously the one-on-one, and then obviously to have, I don't know, like your Slack channel that sells up SOS.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, definitely. And I think you're very right there. So a few things I picked out is, we do prevent those silos. We need to be very specific and very clear in our communication. And we need to know our audience, because people don't learn in the same way. And one of the things that I think it took me a while to learn, actually, for whatever reason, was that even though I thought I was being clear, I was still being clear from a position of somebody who already understood what I was talking about. And so exactly how you said, where you said, could you explain it to your grandmother or an 8-year-old boy? And could they understand it? If somebody who's never seen this thing before can pick it up and follow the instructions, that's how it needs to be. And that isn't necessarily because some people learn slower than others, even though that is true. It's also because people are busy. And when people are busy and they need to figure something out, the communication that they're receiving from you has to be very succinct. It has to give them exactly what they need to do. There has to be no figuring it out for themselves, because when people get busy, they get stressed. And if a salesperson opens up your training recording or your documentation and it looks complicated, they're not going to read it. They will just find another way.
Yeah, they find another way, or they didn't do it at all.
Exactly. Then, I tried, and
I try it. Yeah. Something that I simplify probably the process is complicated. I don't know. I like to see it, I don't know, like an iceberg. What the people on the sales teams always see, like the little tip of the iceberg, but the bottom of the iceberg is when or the other work on sales operations establish their tasks, their missions. I don't know, establish the process, the automations, the data, how to connect to other departments, blah 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 blah. But all has to be represented, but and only the sales rep has to see, I don't know, like 2 or 3 new properties in their CRM, like a new property, yes or no, and that's it. But
That's it.
from the bottom is a lot of complexity. Yes, it's one of the main challenge. And I know right now in my company we were working on all it was to have like a new quoting platform for accounting, and we have to connect it to our CRM. So when finance came to me and showed me the process and what the sales reps has to do to map their sales to the new system, I was like, oh my god, this is a mess. No, it has to be at least 1 or 2 or 3, maximum 3 properties, yes or no, or at least 3 options, and that's it. And all the automation or your job inside our company as finance and sales ops is to make that 3 properties to work exactly, so we have the data that we need, so we can complete the process outside. I understand sometimes that, okay, especially in B2B business, that the way the sales work is complex, is complicated. No, I don't know, to sell technology solutions, or even infrastructure, or to sell, I don't know, data storage, whatever, in tech or in big companies. But even in that, you have to look up for simplicity in the way the sales reps ingest the data inside the system. And also you have to be very clear about the importance and why they have to put the data inside the system. Yeah, because also with sales ops, we have this kind of mission to have all the data that is possible. So the C-level, the B-level management in our company have the proper data to make good decisions. So, and sometimes one of the silos of sales is kind of to obtain the quota, but the quota is no, by a strategic position is not kind of the main goal. The main goal is to combine all the quota of everybody, so the finance of the company is completely healthy. So, and also to track all these little finances, metrics, I don't know, like MRR or TCV or AR. So you have these kind of arguments around your revenue. So you have argument with your stakeholders, so you can share information, so they can give you more money, or you can refinance your company, or you can share your success or make the good decisions inside your company around the way constantly you're making revenue.
Yeah.
But communicate that is a complex task. And also to make this kind of, I don't know, education work about this, I don't know, this big decision strategic point of view from a sales or especially daily basis is kind of complicated, but you have to make this effort also to communicate this the importance. It's not about these 3 properties, or it's not about this new weird process that we came last week. It's about why it's important to do that for the company overall, because we are in the same boat, we are in the same team, and if we are doing that, is not because we want to, that you sell this. We want you sell this. So we want only that you share with us the data of your sales, so we can make good decisions. So you have, I don't know, better territory, better prospection for your next sales.
Yeah. So, I have a question. You said know your audience, and I'm very much with you on that. Do you speak to your sales managers differently from the general sales people? And specifically, I'm talking about the the reasons why data needs to be in the system, because how I go about it is, through general training and general conversations, but predominantly my section of the quarterly sales meeting, I like to go through the latest reports that we've had to deliver to the board or to investors and say, so these are the reports that we delivered and this is where the data came from, so that they know that when they completed this field, it went there. And when they see that direct connection, then you can see people's faces and they go, oh, like it really is used for something. It's not just us hoarding data in a cabinet somewhere and because we just like it. So when you explain that, do you explain it differently to sales managers than salespeople or no?
Yeah, I do that. I always share the why is important about this. Obviously, before I share that process or an improvement, blah, 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 to the sales reps, I always speak first with the sales managers, always. And also always work with them. So first, they can has this collaboration with them so they can understand the importance of this. And also they know the strategic point of view of the data that we need, or why it's important to follow that process, or why it's important to set up a new kind of platform. I always speak with that. And also I make a lot of collaboration to say, okay, what are your needs now about the data? What are your needs about your time? How your team work? What is the main challenge? I always ask for that for the managers. And when I need help for them, I always ask for their help. And I have the luck to work in a very, collaborative company. So we have this culture of collaboration between departments and between managers. And when I establish a new process and I share properly and efficiently with the managers, and they work to improve my process, to improve the data, to improve the way a platform is going to be implemented to the sales reps, I think you're winning you're winning the sales teams. And then when you came to the sales reps now with the new process that you already work in company with the sales managers, you see that the implementation is a little bit easy for me to share that because you have, like, I don't know, the check, or you have the approval for them, and they see that their managers speak for them with me, so their need is kind of matched. So we make this kind of dialogue, this negotiation to understand what is important for me as sales, what is important for them as sales reps, how we can work together, and how we can report in a daily basis, I don't know, very tactic daily basis sales daily job, and then how this kind of tactics or tasks in a daily basis they're transformed in a more strategic point of view. So and also here in my company, it's very common that the managers, okay, we follow the quota, we follow the goals, but also they share always with the sales reps the importance of obtaining this kind of quota to maintain the number, to enhance the data, and why the big numbers are important for us, because in that way the company can pay to all, the tech team or the engineers or all the people that they don't have this kind of quota-based jobs, have their own bonuses. So this is also a way that they can understand that if the company grows, you grow, everybody grows. So
it sounds like to me.
Yeah, we are very collaborative culture here in my company. I have the luck to operate a very collaborative company. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds to me that good communication increases trust.
Yeah, exactly. And also you have to, you have to have the, I don't know, the will to have this information and to understand the value of the information and what's behind the information. When I say information, is the information that the sales team reports and the importance what the information matters. So if everybody is on track of that, besides the quota, I think you're making a very good job as sales ops by communicating the importance of everything, of your position, of the department, of everything on the platform. Because if we don't have these kind of platforms or processes, we don't have a company. No?
Oh, that's true. So thank you so much for all of this. I think what I'd love to hear from you is your advice to somebody who is new inside sales operations or are considering going into sales operations. What one thing would you tell them as a piece of advice about communication specifically?
The communication, okay. One thing is make a lot of questions. Then I think empathy is key element to put in the shoes of the sales reps, to be very empathic with them, and also have the capability to share information in different formats for any different kind of audiences. So if someone loves the text, make text. If someone loves videos, make tutorials. If someone loves the PowerPoints, make PowerPoints. If someone loves Notion, make a Notion. So I think is one key element. And also remove everything that is not truly important and make it simple. Yeah, make it simple.
And I think
have a lot of segments and make it simple. Make a TikToks. Make a channel. Make a TikToks.
Oh yeah. I'm a very big fan of. Basically, I advise people to clone themselves. As soon as you're in an organization and you know what to do, clone yourself. Say everything that you're saying, record it, and then put it everywhere. And I think AI now it's developing at lightning speed, but that should make things easier for us to have the trainings in lots of different forms, so that you can record one video and then the AI can take the script from that video and automatically create the instructions using the different screens that you're showing, for example.
And then you can create a PowerPoint using that data, using also AI. So
exactly,
you don't have excuses. You have to make a lot of making content, but for your company and making like internal marketing there.
Yeah, definitely. This has been really, really great. Do you have any other final points that you want to tell our sales ops colleagues about communication?
Yeah, well, about communication.
Or general.
In general, okay. Probably one of the key elements is I don't know, one of the key elements, or I don't know, key features of sales ops, specialist, manager, whatever, is that we came from different areas, no? So someone came from marketing, another one came from business operation as it is, another one came from, I don't know, as myself, for animation, for this sets of jobs. So you have to look out for what is your current skills, I don't know, and your strength and your opportunities there. So if your strength is communication, you're very good in Excel and manage data, but you are a mess in finance, find out a course in finance. And you're very good at finance, but you are the worst in communication. Okay, try to find out a very good tutorial or course, I don't know, in internal communication, in corporate communications, because in that way you can share more information, and you can out of a process of project management. Okay, learn about the finance. You have to, I don't know, fill or your gaps, because you have to be very to know about everything.
Yeah,
in operations.
That's so true, and you don't have to know it all before you go in, but know that you're gonna learn it.
Yeah.
You're gonna learn.
You will need to search for a very good course in finance, learn about everything you can on Excel or Google Sheets once you save your life.
Yeah, and you listen to podcasts like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this.
And also, I think also talk with another professional. I think that we are very dispersed all around the world. So there's not like a very good, I don't know, sales convention, I don't know, in London, 2034, something like that. It's not like marketing that.
There's a few different ones, but there's not one, like maybe I might create one day, but there's a few different ones, but I want one that feels
like
more like sales operations rather than sales, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And I haven't found one yet. So I don't know. I'm going to keep looking there.
We need to create one.
I know, right? So thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.
No, it was a pleasure. I love it.
Definitely going to talk soon.